Okay, so the big news from Rishi Sunak's second budget was the relaunch of the 95% mortgage with a guarantee. Now this isn't a guarantee that everybody will qualify, so in this video I'm going to explain how the scheme is going to work. So up until the pandemic, most banks and building societies, most of the major ones, were offering 95% mortgages anyway. So why did they stop? Well, one of the reasons behind this was that banks were worried that property prices could drop if the job losses, for example, got really bad. Then there wouldn't be as many people buying property perhaps, and that could affect property values. So that made them a little bit more risk averse, and they restricted the maximum loan to value from 95% down in some instances all the way to 85%. So if you'd have been contacting me in the summer of 2020, you might have even been having to find a 15% deposit to buy a property. Towards the end of last year, the 90% mortgages started to return, but no sign of the 95% mortgages coming back to the market. So what the government have done in a bid to sort of stimulate the economy and to get people buying properties, it's a big win for the government if people start buying properties, because it's such what they call a wide multiplier. Obviously so many jobs that are relying on the property sector succeeding, is they said, look, if you can start lending at 95% again, we're going to come up with a way of guaranteeing some of the risk in the event that any of these properties go to repossession. So what they're hoping is going to happen here is that the lenders are going to become more confident to offer 95% mortgages again, and the scheme launches in April. So as from April, we should start to see the return of the deposits being only 5%. So when the scheme is launched, the 5% deposit would apply to all properties, so not just new build like the Help to Buy equity loan. You'll be able to put down 5% on any property up to £600,000. Also, it's not just for first-time buyers. Help to Buy equity loan is just for first-time buyers, whereas the new 95% mortgage is for anyone, either first-time buyer or moving home. The other news from the budget was the changes in stamp duty. We have this stamp duty holiday coming to the end on 31st of March, so I'll explain how that works now. So one of the measures from 2020 was the government introduced a stamp duty holiday again to stimulate the property market. It worked pretty well, but the pandemic has gone on for longer than anyone expected, so purchases are taking much longer to complete because I guess lots of people are working from home, the communication is not as good. So the length of time between having an offer accepted and getting the keys and moving in is significantly longer, and what that's led to is that lots of deals are stuck in the pipeline. So the stamp duty holiday was due to end on the 31st of March, but there were thousands of deals stuck, and we're heading towards this cliff edge of this 31st of March cut-off date where the stamp duty holiday would cease to apply. So what's happened is that the stamp duty holiday has been extended for all property purchased up to £500,000 up to the 30th of June, and then in some welcome news, and possibly a little bit unexpected, there's going to be a tapering effect. So for a further 3 months after that, to the 30th of September, the stamp duty holiday will apply on purchases up to £250,000. So all in all, a really good budget for the property market. Thanks for watching. If you're in the market for mortgage advice, please drop me an email, malcolm@ukmoneyman.com, or give us a call, and please subscribe to our channel.